I think a lot of it just had something to do with like fear, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
first
a
off,
lot of fear.
So Evan and I, we went to dinner yesterday, and on the way there, he was describing to me, probably the best way to talk about this, the way that the potential danger of skydiving was presented to the audience was very heavy on, these are all the things that will kill you. Maybe 99, it sounds like 99% of the instruction was, you're going to die doing this is certainly death, this is horrific, and maybe it's going to be okay.
I left the first couple days of instruction thinking that parachutes were only designed to wrap around an appendage and that you couldn't cut them away.
Yeah. It's
And that
designed to wrap around your body.
you're going to cut away
Yeah.
into something that was already attached to your body, and you might as well just throw in the towel at this point.
Yeah.
I left there thinking, I need a third parachute. I left the training going, I need a third one because 2 is not enough, because evidently
Everybody dies.
everybody dies
You
with
have to
in
tell
a
them about
horseshoe.
the car ride conversation leaving.
We left there on day 1 or whenever it was after our first day of instruction, and all of us. So it's like me, Jericho, and Jericho's like, 20-year retired first sergeant, like Ranger Regiment the entire time, like countless fucking ops, super salty. And Jericho's in the passenger seat, Logan's in the back, and I think maybe Jared or somebody was with us. And Jericho's like, well, I'm terrified. How about you guys? And we were like, oh yeah, we're fucking scared out of our goddamn minds. Like, we don't even know.
We're all gonna die.
We don't want to do this anymore. It was like, we were all like, we do not want to do this. This is fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, we walked into the, to pull our rental gear. I was telling Andy this story and the instructor, Matt, which, God bless him, he's a fucking super nice guy. He went on long tirades around like malfunctions, but then there are other things too, where we're getting our gear and he's like, hey guys, make sure that you inspect it because sabotage is a big deal on drop zones. Like, people will cut your...
We just have saboteurs running amok here.
Yeah, it was like...
So everybody's like paranoid.
So all of us are like, holy shit, really? Like,
Are they
this
gonna
is
try
a
to
thing?
test us?
Yeah, it's this fucking
Whoever dies
real. Like,
loses.
people are taking wire snippers to your shit, and you're like, and to her credit, my instructor, Sarah Curtis, she was like, Matt, that was like 40 years ago, and it was like one guy, but he was like talking about it like it was yesterday, like somebody came in with wire snips.
But was it
like,
serious or was it he joking?
no, he was dead serious.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everything about the course was only built around, this is going to kill you, 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 this is going to kill you. Go have fun.
That's the military.
But also be
That's the
careful of
military.
sabotage.
Yeah, and be careful. Like, so not only are these things designed to wrap around an appendage and then get hung up in the other reserve parachute, you also have to watch out for people like fucking sabotaging your shit. And you're like, holy shit, I don't know if I want to do this sport anymore.
So you exit the plane and you're getting close to pull time. What are you thinking as you're reaching back to deploy your main for the first time? Like, it's going to be a shark's jaw that's going to come get you, or
the only thing I can think of is
mache,
I have to get this as far away from my body as possible because this thing is built to wrap around my arm. I got to fucking throw this thing out. It's built to want to just go and just. I got this thing is like make it. And then I kept thinking about it. It's like, we need to make these things so they're built for parachuting, not for wrapping around appendages.
did you like almost throw your labrum out, just rip it? Just,
That's a military thing, though, right?
He was a military instructor.
Yeah.
He's a military instructor. So
because I remember free fall in Yuma is the same way. It's all based EPs and everything else. But when you go to civilian skydive, which is the problem, right? You go to military free fall, and it's all based on the things that kill you. You go and then you're tight, you're stiff, and everything you waffle.
It's
you're
called
like,
being fucking terrified.
yeah, you're a piece of plywood.
Because in the airplane on the ride up, you're like,
yeah,
I know what I'll do. What'll be confidence inspiring? I'll list alphabetically the ways this is going to kill me.
Yeah.
And then I'll just go back down the list. And then it comes time to exit. And the only thing you're thinking about is, I'm definitely going to die. I just don't know how. It's not the right way to teach people. Like, you can be aware of things that might go wrong, but let's look for things that could go right.
Yeah.
yeah. The civilian side is different.
It's like here we're going to give you
they're paying
6
customers.
hours.
Yeah.
We're going to give you 6 hours of instruction. We're going to talk about every fucking thing under the sun that is going to kill you. Like, this is going to kill you, this is going to kill you, this is going to kill you for 6 hours. And then they're like, okay, guys, let's get our stuff. Let's go have fun. And you're like, I don't think I want to.
Imagine having a malfunction on your first jump after that. So you have a data point of 1, 6 hours of like
and then
fucking faces of death.
Yeah.
Jump number 1, you pitch and it's just a bag of shit overhead. And you're just there like, I knew it. Dude, I'm ready for you though.
The Jericho is Jericho's like the single most fun human to be around in these situations because he's fucking really dry. Like his sense of humor is like dry. But then he's like, he'll be sitting there and he'll be like, the instructors are going through what they're going to do. He's like, yeah, I'm getting a lot of body no's about not wanting to do this. My body's saying no, you know.
Body no's.
Getting a lot of body no's. Like, and but he'll do it like he fucking hated it. So
even after he did a few jumps,
dude, like every day we would do like these check-ins with everybody. He's like, I fucking hate this. Like the only reason I'm doing this is because I'm not going to be called a pussy, and I'm only doing this because he's like, well, one, you're like, we're paying for it, and two, like, I want to be able to like jump into hunts and do this stuff and other future content. He's like, I fucking hate this. Like I'm so miserable. I'm so fucking stressed out. He's like, and I was like, yeah, that's supposed to be fun. But no, everybody was like stressed the fuck out. Like everybody, uniformly, 100% everybody's like, holy shit. But once he started jumping, like there was a flexion point where it was like jump 6 or 7, I forget. I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah. Have you had a malfunction yet, Mike?
No, I don't believe so.
You probably would remember it.
Yeah, well, I've had some stuff under canopy, some weird stuff.
You ever had to chop a main though and get on your
No,
reserve?
I've never had a chop in the main. Almost, I came close to chopping a main because I had line twists really bad that I couldn't pull myself out of. And then I just dead hung, started building momentum and was able to pop it out. I did have a bad military free fall jump where my nods came off and hit me in the face and then navved in the opposite direction. And then was hearing the commo and thought they were talking to me when they're talking to somebody else. It's like, click your heels. And I was like, okay, I got you. And he didn't have me.
They clearly weren't talking to you.
He wasn't talking to me.
Those are always the
best. It was
best.
bad. And so I landed, got knocked unconscious, or injured my neck. It was a bad jump.
Yeah, a lot of people are scared of their first cutaway until they have one. And it's a pretty emotional event. But then you realize, yeah, I'm going to be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Almost every skydiving fatality occurs under perfectly functioning equipment, meaning the person flying the equipment makes a shitty decision, at least in the modern era. Like in the 70s when they were like, you got a sewing machine? I'm going to go ahead and try a new stitch on my leg strap and then just blow out of your harness. Like that was a different story, but the modern gear, the stuff you guys were jumping, you guys were both on the Rental Infinity rigs.
Yeah.
Or Velocity, or I don't know what they're officially is. They're fucking awesome though.
Yeah.
Like the odds of the rig itself malfunctioning has got to be almost zero. But a dual actual malfunction where you deploy your main, recognize that you need to get rid of it, cut it away properly, fire your reserve, and your reserve doesn't open. You'd like win the lottery, get struck by lightning twice, and eaten by a great white shark.
Yeah, I did the numbers on it. It was like 1 in 38 million or something like that. It was like fucking crazy. And then I was thinking about it because I was running the numbers on like if you were wearing a third. So because I was like,
belly reserve.
Yeah, so if you're wearing a belly reserve, because I was like, well, what would that be? It was 1 in like 7 billion. Like it's exponential factor of like fucking. It's crazy.
Wow.
Because
why
like
would
the thing
you run
we
a
were
belly
talking.
reserve?
Well, no, I was talking about Andy. Because
if
I was
people
like,
are
I want
an
to
intentional cut. So by FAA regulation, you have to have 2 parachutes.
Oh.
So if you're going to do an intentional cutaway from a non-malfunctioning canopy, they still want you to have the ability to go to a main and then a reserve.
Why would you have to? Is that part of something?
Test jumpers will often do that, like when they're designing a new canopy.
Directorates.
Or, Curtis will soak a canopy in gasoline and shoot a flare gun at it and let it burn above his head.
Wow.
because that's cool.
It is.
It's really cool. Actually.
It is amazing, but it's probably better off to have a reserve.
Curtis is the same guy that will fly into a one of those Dust Devils and ride them. Like he goes in and rides them.
That's not advisable for the ability to walk.
But that's like he's like another type of human. He's got a strange brain.
I haven't seen him in a long time, but back in like 2006, 7, he was working with us in the tunnel and was already probably the single most capable flyer that I'd ever been around. Add 15 more years to that.
Right.
Between, like, they're unbelievable. The Curtis family, Steve and Sarah, are unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's test jumping is one of the main reasons why. Yeah, you'll get a reserve ride. What changed it for me, what actually made me worry less about reserves opening, was when I started base jumping, because you only have one.
Yeah.
And you pack it almost identical. Like the actual sequence of laying the canopy down to pack it is how they start a reserve pack job. And you realize that these things are actually designed to open. They want to open. And you catastrophically have to fuck up packing to make it not actually open. The odds of 2 of those happening in a row on the same rig,
Right.
almost 0.
Yeah.
So
How many cutaways have you had?
6 or 7. I went over 3,000 jumps without having a single one. And then I was telling Evan, it's like, then 1 week I had 3. I think
1 week you had 3?
Yeah.
Was that because of
it's hard to
equipment?
say. It's hard. I mean, one of them was no, that was a different week. The last time I cut away, it was actually funny. Jim was on the drop zone watching me. I had done a wingsuit jump. Canopy was totally flying perfectly, but the lines were spun up.
Yeah.
And I was facing the back of my canopy, flying towards the mountains. So I was flying towards ascending terrain under canopy, and I was like, I don't think I have time to actually get these out. Ka-tunk, and just cut it away. But that was because of a shit body position on opening, which creates a burble. And I've actually had a rear-facing camera on wingsuit jumps. And if you have the bag that the parachute goes into is a deployment bag, and there are a variety of different types.
AKA D-bag.
D-bag.
D-bags.
Some of them have rubber bands that you rubber band the lines into.
Yeah.
Which, if you guys were watching me pack my parachute, I only have 2 rubber bands on mine, and then I just stow the lines into the bag. It's called a semi-stowless bag because there's 2 rubber bands. And the reason for that is the canopy I was jumping is designed for wingsuits, but I would jump with a rear-facing camera, and you flare a wingsuit, so you have all the speed. You actually can pop up.
Right.
And you can pitch like right at the apex, right as you come over the top, so you're going really slow. And in the camera, you'd see your pilot chute, pull on the bridle, it would pull the deployment bag out, and then the bag would start rotating as every one of the rubber bands would let go, and the rotation and oscillation would get worse. And then it's like, so you can create that, bro. The semi-stowless bag, the bag comes straight off, and the lines just completely pay out. And it's just the last 2, and like, bloop, and the canopy comes open. So the week that I had multiple was probably packing error on my part, or it could have been a little bit of wear and tear on the equipment, or more than likely
What were they?
packing error.
What were they? What were the?
One of them was an extremely hung slider, which I would say was probably a tension knot of some kind. There was probably something that was up there. One of them was extreme line twists under a small sporting canopy, where it asymmetrically loaded the canopy so that it just starts into a dive.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like on my back, orbiting around, like looking straight up, and then like to the point where you're getting both hands to fire your reserve, and then it spits you off into space on your back. And you have to, it's actually more awesome than scary.
Yeah, because you got more.
Because you're getting a ride.
Velocity, more of a ride.
Yeah, you have this rotation that just spits you out when you
Clears the main.
Obviously, you need the appropriate altitude to do that. I don't remember what the third one was, but on average, it's 1 out of like every 888 jumps terminates in a reserve ride.
I like the way the San Diego skydive guys operate, because I felt safe, but also there's a different atmosphere there where it's like laid back. And, you know, like you go to Skydive Arizona and everybody seems like they're high on marijuana or some kind of like drug, because they're like hippie. But at Skydive Arizona, it's so different. It was like there was pros there. It seemed like.
It's San Diego, you mean?
Sorry, Skydive San Diego.
I think every DZ has their own feel.
Yeah, 'cause, like there's wingsuit guys. There's dudes doing formation jumps. And every time I've been to Skydive Arizona, it's like core, like hippie dudes who are just like in flip flops and, you know, just throwing their stuff on. It just seems a little bit more relaxed. or a little bit more not my culture. I don't know. San Diego was fun. It's just different.
Jeff has a good system going on there. A lot of his, if you look at the operation, like I was telling you guys, it's based around they own the, or they don't own, they are the recipients of the Navy contract for the military
Yep.
free fall program.
Yep.
And the oversight for that is unbelievable. So he has a full, I think they still called, it's called TAC Air, but they have a full military training side, but they share the same aircraft, the same pilots. So they're probably a little bit more Swiss clockish, you know, kind of by the book.
They do AFFI there? Or just-
An AFFI is somebody who, that means you're an instructor, which means you can teach people to skydive. The people going through are going through AFF. So they
AFF, okay.
That's what there was. A lot of the people you'll see they do a tandem first. I have never understood why. I mean, I guess I do. People want to experience free fall absent any responsibility, and then they're like, okay, I want to learn how to do this. So they'll do a tandem, and then they go over and they start going through the AFF course. Did they do tandems with you guys
They
first?
had to because it's a requirement now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So there you go.
have
It's a
to do a
change from when I
tandem.
went through.
Yep.
I wonder why that is.
I have no idea. I think
You have to do a tandem for what?
to start
It's part of the AFF program.
part of the
Oh,
AFF.
You have to be tandemed.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
How would they do that?
They
Seems
changed
weird.
that. I don't know. I know that because I started AFF like 15 years ago or whenever, and that wasn't part of it.
It was not a
like-
requirement for me either. It was a
like-
choice, and it was actually one that they recommended, but it was not a requirement.
Yeah. Whereas like, I didn't do it the first time. I was like, no, this, like I've jumped out of planes. My first jump was out of a unassisted jump was out of a fucking Cessna 185 with a roll-up door in Boulder, Colorado, and the guy was just like, "Jump out, man! Like, you know, like you got your chute and just fucking." Because I was holding my chute and I was out on the strut.
You were holding your pilot chute on
so
the
it was-
strut.
Yeah, this is how pirate this thing was. So I got out on the strut and I was like holding on. He's like, "Just jump off and like, let go."
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted
to
to-
skydive Boulder.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was like 15 years ago.
Perhaps a loose and fast operation.
I walked in there that day. And I was like, "Hey, I want to learn how to skydive." And they're like, "Sick, man. You want to start right now?" And I was like, "Okay, I guess." So let's fucking go, man. Like, hey, check it out, man. We've been doing this for a long time. Like, dude, back in the day, like, we used to be doing like heavy fat lines of fucking coke around here. And you're just like, okay, cool. I guess this is how you learn how to skydive. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck, I don't know.
the
You know?
culture.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Give me some blow.
I was still at a TSSCI, so I wasn't like doing any of that.
Yeah.
But I was like, I guess this is how it goes. And then you go to Longmont in Colorado, and they're like totally different. Like, places fucking running like a machine. But yeah, that was like my first jump. It was like,
Wow.
just climb on out, man.